How to make money watching UFC 326 Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira in the main event. I'm going to break through the entire card, giving out my lock of the week, underdog of the week, and prop of the week, as well as predicting and breaking down every single fight on the card. And boys, you know it's going to be a fucking good card when there are no women fights on here. From bottom to top, not a single woman fight. So let's celebrate, let's enjoy it. We don't need to sit through 15 minutes of absolute nothingness. Let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the main event, Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. I hate to say it, and this just proves that, I'll never be biased on a pick. I'll always put my bias aside. I love Charles Oliveira. He's potentially my favourite active fighter right now. But I am picking Max Holloway here. As much as I hate to say it, I am picking Max. Max is coming off of that win against Poirier in Poirier's retirement fight, where he's really finding his tune at lightweight, and he really looks good as of late. Even in the Ilia to Poirier fight, it was down at featherweight. It was competitive. The first 2 rounds were close, and then in round 3, he eventually got clipped and got finished. When he has bumped up to lightweight as of late, the Justin Gaethje fight, that win is aging very well for him. Gaethje's obviously the interim champ right now, coming off of that win against Paddy. So that win, it makes it look even better for Max. Those 2 performances, specifically against Poirier in his last matchup, and then Gaethje, he looks really good at lightweight. He's kind of changed up his style a little bit as well. A lot more kicks from Max, spinning back kicks, teeps up the middle, which I like for him with his long frame. He's got the length advantage here. He's taller than Oliveira, I believe, by 1 inch or half an inch. But regardless, I like the more kicking style approach from Max, especially in a matchup like this. Charles is going to be the one pressing forward, as he does always. He's going to be the one on the front foot, trying to engage, trying to close a distance and get Max into the clinch and look for takedowns. And those kicks are going to help Max, setting up feints from range, chopping the low kick, stabbing the teep up the middle. I feel they're going to work very well for him. Essentially, I'm picking Max because I can't trust in the durability of Oliveira for 5 rounds. I feel this fight's going to go either 2 ways. Holloway's going to weather a bit of an early storm, the early takedown attempts of Charles, and find a finish in late round 2, early round 3. Or we're going to see Charles get a round 1, round 2 submission. I'm very confident in that. I'm very confident this fight does not go the distance. And actually, our prop of the week, if you are new, our prop of the week has to be at minimum plus money. Our prop of the week is going to be a double chance bet. I'm not sure for the Americans out there. I know if you're in Australia or New Zealand, this 100% is a prop. It's called double chance, and that is Max Holloway to win by KO or Charles Oliveira to win by submission. So, you're getting the 2 in 1, and that is at exactly plus money. So I believe plus 100 for the American people and $2 odds for Australian and New Zealanders. But I feel like the fight's going to break out. Oliveira's going to be the one on the front foot like he is always. He's going to be the one trying to close distance, trying to engage in the clinch, trying to mix in the takedowns. And do I believe he's going to get them? It's hard to tell, because one thing with Max, we haven't seen him face a wrestling style or a grappling style of opponent in a very long time. We look down the chart of his recent matchups: Ilia to Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, none of which are grapplers. Even in the featherweight division, Volkanovski, the 3 fights with Volk, all 99% of them were on the feet. 99% of the fight time throughout all 3 fights. Arnold Allen, Korean Zombie, you really have to go back far to find a predominant grappler that Max has fought. So we haven't really seen his grappling get tested as of late. So it's a very, difficult area to judge, because we haven't seen it. So a lot of questions remain there. Do I think Oliveira is going to take him down? I think it's very likely. We saw the most recent person to take down Max was Ilia. We saw him close the distance, kind of just mix it up to get Max thinking. It was actually very smart. Got to the hips very, very easily and was able to dump down Max on his ass and take him down. Was able to take the back at the end of round 1, I believe it was as well. So, I mean, if Ilya, you break it down like MMA math, if Ilya can take down Max, I think Charles can. Charles has looked like he has improved his offensive wrestling a lot. You look at it in the Michael Chandler fight, the second Michael Chandler fight. You look at it in the Gamrot fight, and especially against two predominant wrestlers. Chandler is a very credentialed wrestler. Gamrot as well. Gamrot's got a win over Arman. It's impressive. He's able to, mix up his striking and mix it up accordingly to kind of hide that takedown attempt. He's very good at feinting and throwing teeps up the middle, low kicks, feinting, cutting off the cage, and shooting right at that perfect time. We saw that against Gamrot. We saw that against Chandler in the rematch. We saw him do that a lot against Chandler in the rematch. So there's definitely a lot of improvements on the offensive wrestling of Charles Oliveira. The question is, the distance management of Max, the kicks from range, the feints, it's going to be hard to get in close to Max. Essentially, I feel it's going to be, Max on the back foot, circling away from that power hand of Oliveira, kicking at range, teep, spinning back kicks, low kicks, and then we'll kind of see a little bit of what we saw with Charles versus Gamrot, where Charles was on the front foot going forward with that high and tight guard, and Gamrot's able to land a couple of shots. It actually got a little bit scary. Not that Oliveira got wobbled or anything, but Gamrot starts to just land shots on the guard and begins to understand, okay, he's got a high and tight guard, I'm going to start to go around it. He was able to land a couple of hooks around the guard as well. But for that style of a game plan and moving forward like that against a guy like Holloway, who's able to put combinations together a lot more fluidly than Gamrot and able to go to the body, dig to the body, then come upstairs. It's a lot more threatening and it's a lot more scary if you're an Oliveira fan. So I do worry there. 100% this fight could end in round 1. Essentially, I don't believe it's going to go past 3. I think it'll end in round 2 or round 3. But yeah, it's just I can't get out of my head Holloway being able to kind of bad stutter on my end. I can't get out of my head Max Holloway weathering an early storm of Oliveira, kind of getting to the hips, getting to the clinch, getting Holloway against the cage, and being able to trip Holloway down, get on top. I feel Holloway's going to be okay. He's going to train enough. You'd have to expect that throughout this camp he'd be training, spending a lot of time with guys on his back, elite level grapplers. Hopefully he's gone to come out to train with him. I feel he's going to be able to survive round 1, assuming obviously Charles Oliveira isn't going to take him down instantly. I feel like he's going to be good enough to survive, and after he does survive that early onslaught on the ground and the transitions of Charles, begins back on the feet in round 2, I feel like we're going to see Holloway begin to stuff the takedowns a bit more, keep his range with the kicks, kind of just work down Oliveira on the feet, go to the body, go to the calf, land those good boxing combinations as Oliveira's closing the distance. And then I honestly feel at the end of round 2, maybe round 3, a lot of that, the wrestling, the Oliveira mixing up the wrestling and the offensive wrestling is going to kind of tire him out in a way, not to where he's gassed, but to where he's definitely fatiguing a lot more and a lot quicker than Holloway. And I feel that's when Max Holloway is going to be able to put on those shots as Oliveira's coming in. We're going to see Oliveira kind of wobble or not eat a shot well. Max is going to go on the front foot, put long boxing combinations together well, and get Charles Oliveira out of there. So I am picking Holloway to win by round 2 or round 3 TKO. But I'm not saying that with very high confidence. I do think Oliveira has a very, very solid chance of finding a submission. If he can get this fight to the ground, if he can get this fight to the ground, round 1 with 3 minutes remaining, and he's able to pass Holloway's guard and really, work in those Das chokes, those guillotines. He's got a very good guillotine. He's very good at switching from Das to guillotine and guillotine to Das. So I wouldn't be surprised if Oliveira, if he's able to get the fight down to the ground, it would favour him drastically, and his chances of having a round one submission victory go up a lot, and it would be very likely. But I'm going to trust in Holloway to be able to keep his distance for a large majority of round one, and just kind of work the kicks at range and teep and stay away and move and kind of weather that early, aggressiveness of Charles. And then I think round two, round three, Charles walking forward with that high and tight guard. Holloway's going to, begin to pick up on patterns, go to the body a lot more, dig to the body, teeps, knees up the middle as well, I feel could be there for Holloway. And eventually I just feel one of those shots, I just can't trust in Charles's durability. I feel like they're going to land around the guard as Holloway's on the back foot. He's very good at striking on the back foot. And we're going to see Oliveira not take a shot too well, and then Holloway pressures him and finds a TKO. So official prediction is going to be Max Holloway by late second round TKO or midway through the third. And our prop of the week is going to be a double chance bet. That is Max Holloway to win by KO or Charles Oliveira to win by submission. I fucking love that bet. I love the odds on this fight not to go the distance. I've seen a lot of people saying they feel this will go the distance. I honestly don't understand how, because if this fight is on the feet, Charles does have very good striking, he does. But what he doesn't have is the youth. He doesn't have the reach. He doesn't have the striking of Max. He doesn't have the boxing as well in specifics. Oliveira has very good kicks. He's very good at mixing up his weapons. Teeps, low kicks, left hook, right uppercut. Mixes up his weapons very well. But Max's boxing is on a bit of another level. He's got a very good jab. He's good at digging to the body in between combinations as well. He doesn't just headhunt. So I feel, with that high and tight guard, he's going to go to the body, dig to the body, break Oliveira down, and then, chop the tree and be able to then go upstairs and find those shots. So I just don't understand people who feel this fight, especially that are confident it goes a distance, because if Oliveira gets his fight to the ground, it's going to be in constant threat of the fight stopping with Oliveira's jiu-jitsu. And with it standing, you're in constant threat of Holloway finding that shot, especially with Oliveira's durability. So that's the pick there. Like I said, Holloway round 2 or 3 TKO. Prop of the week is Holloway by KO or Oliveira by submission. And I do not think this fight goes the distance. Next up, we have Caio Borralho versus Reina de Ridder. Now, I'm going to pick Caio Borralho here, but I don't like it as much as what I originally thought. Going back to the tape study and looking at Reina de Ridder, he's very strong in the clinch. The knees in the clinch, everyone knows he's got that good step-in knee. His boxing, his striking is absolutely terrible. Apart from his knee, his striking is dog shit. I don't understand how these guys have, been mixed martial artists for 15 plus years and their striking is terrible. They can't put together a simple boxing combination. Looks like he's never boxed a day in his life, but he's got good knees up the middle. His striking, it's mainly just setting up himself to work into the clinch or a takedown attempt. Caio Borralho, on the other hand, is a lot more fluid on the feet. They're both southpaws here, so I favour Caio's striking a lot in this matchup. He's got a much larger output and higher volume on the feet. We saw him showcase what he could really do on the feet against Jared Cannonier, where he hurt Jared multiple times, was able to drop him in the 5th, nearly finding that TKO. He's coming off of that loss to Nassourdine Imavov, where you could score it a number of ways. You could score it 5-0 Imavov, 49-46, 48-47. 2 rounds were close, but essentially it was probably a 49-46 Imavov, 48-47 maybe. But I mean, it was competitive in the sense Borralho did have his moments. It's not like Imavov completely went out there and just dominated him and, was getting knockdowns or was cutting him open. Like, Borralho was in there to the final bell, and he showcased good cardio, a good chin as well. He was able to eat shots. The reason why I'm picking Caio Borralho is simple. I'm not going to pick and I'm not going to bet on a guy with a quit button. Reina de Ridder in his last matchup, we saw it was meant to fight Fluffy. Allen came in short notice and he quit on the stool. He quit on the stool with 1 round remaining You're telling me you can't go out there and, go out there for one more round? Like, what does that say about a guy? You can't go out there and, at least, fucking end up on bottom for 4.5 minutes and just, lay there and make it to a decision. Like, this guy really quit on the stool, and we've seen him do it in ONE FC. We saw him do that against Anatoly Malikin. I mean, you can't bet on, like, there's good value on his price tag as an underdog, but I mean, you can't be confident in a guy who's got that quit button. If things get ugly, maybe at the end of round one, end of round two, he's on the stool. It becomes a bit of a dogfight. He gets a bad cut, whatever. He could quit again. Once a quitter, always a quitter. He's always going to have that quit in him. And I mean, he did it in his last fight. So take that with what you will. I'm not betting on Reina de Ridder. I will never bet on a guy that I see quit on the stool in fights. But there is value on it. Maybe you guys are different to me. There is value on him. Essentially, how I feel this fight's going to go. Obviously, Caio Borralho has a massive advantage on the feet. He's much more fluid. He's boxing. He's got a good jab. He's got a very good roundhouse kick to the body that he throws often. He's got good low kicks. He's gonna have a field day on the feet. But then Reina de Ridder's going to press forward. He's going to be uncomfortable at range. He's going to be getting teed up on. And he's going to close the distance and look to get into that clinch that he loves. He's going to look to find those knees and then trips and eventually try and get up on top. I feel this fight is a large majority and a large portion of this fight is going to end up being pressed against the cage, and it's actually going to be a very unentertaining fight, pardon me. I feel that's going to be mainly because of Reina de Ridder's style. And just a stylistic matchup here. I think Reina's going to be trying to press this against the fence. He's going to be uncomfortable at range, as he always is. I mean, with his dog shit striking. And he's going to look to get into the clinch, knee the thigh. And really, I think this is going to be a boring fight. I think this is going to be an unentertaining fight. I mean, it's not co-main worthy for a pay-per-view. I don't know why this is co-main. But, yeah. I feel that, though, Caio Borralho is going to edge a decision here just because of when the fight isn't against the cage, when the fight isn't in the clinch. Borralho is going to have the bigger and more significant moments on the feet, and even I'd be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Reina de Ridder doesn't even have any proper moments at range on the feet. Maybe he lands a low kick or a jab, but Borralho is going to be slamming those body kicks. He's going to be at least throwing ones and twos and 1-2, at least some type of boxing combinations. Reina de Ridder, on the other hand, will not. He'll just march forward, look for knees, sloppy 1s and 2s, just to kind of set up himself to enter the clinch and set up a takedown attempt. So I feel if Reina de Ridder can get Caio Borralho down to the ground, it's obviously threatening. He's got that long frame, very long reach. He's got good D'Arce chokes. He's got a lot of rear naked chokes on his resume as well. But I feel Caio Borralho's takedown defense, his grappling is good enough to hold off on that. Obviously, Borralho has the cardio advantage, and he's not a quitter. So if Reina de Ridder is to win a round, I would expect it to be round 1, where he's fresh, he's going forward. Maybe he can, get the fight pressed against the cage for a large majority of round 1. A lot of knees to the thigh, some knees to the body, maybe an elbow in the clinch, and win a bit of a, nothing burger round in round 1. But then I think Borralho is going to be able to have his moments on the feet. It's going to be harder for Reina de Ridder to engage in the clinch just because his gas tank's starting to wear it now. He doesn't have good cardio. And then Borralho's moments on the feet are going to be too significant in rounds 2 and rounds 3, so that when Reina de Ridder does enter the clinch and maybe, he's got dominant position, maybe he's outlanding Borralho in the clinch with a couple of knees to the thigh, he's not going to win those rounds because of before it was entered the clinch, Borralho is landing the more significant and damaging shots on the feet. So Caio Borralho is the pick here. I'm going to pick him to win by a 29-28 decision. I think, like I said, a lot of this fight's going to be pressed up against the cage, knees to the thigh, but Borralho is going to have the more significant and damaging strikes before the fight does get into the clinch, which is going to kind of separate himself and be able to edge out two of those 3 rounds, or maybe even all of them. So Cobra Halio by decision is our official pick. Moving on. Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. I'm picking Raul Rosas Jr. to defeat Rob Font. It's too difficult to pick Rob Font. He's 38 years of age. He's obviously on the tail end of his career. He's coming off of that loss against David Martinez, where it wasn't the worst. He stuck in there till the end. He got dropped late. He got wobbled a couple of times, but he did win round 2. So essentially lost a 29-28 decision. Before that, he lost to Jean Matsumoto. People can say what they want. The Verdict Global Scorecard vouches for what I'm saying. He lost that fight. So, Rob Font, I expect him to be, maybe one more after this, and that's it. Essentially why I'm picking Raul, I don't trust in Rob Font's takedown defense. I don't trust in New England Cartel. Their gym is trash. Their game plans are terrible. Their coaching advice is terrible. Every time you watch Mitch Raposo, Calvin Kattar, Rob Font, the corner advice is fucking garbage. Especially in that Mitch Raposo versus Sumudaji fight. So, when they really needed Raposo to put his foot on the gas. But regardless of that, I'm just going to trust in Raul Rosas' offensive wrestling here. I believe he's going to be able to take down Rob Font, especially within the first minute. I think Rob Font on the ground is pretty much hopeless. Jean Matsumoto was able to rack in a large majority of takedowns against Rob, and like I said, Jean Matsumoto won that fight. I even believe David Martinez was able to mix in a couple of takedowns too. It's no shock that throughout history, Rob Font's takedown defense has shown that it really does need work. And I'm going to trust in the younger, fresher fighter here in Raul to be able to press forward, set up his takedown with a kick, get to the hips of Rob and take him down. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Raul Rosas finds a submission in round 1. It could go multiple ways. Raul could find that early sub, or he could just kind of grind on him and win a 30-27 like he did against Arichi Lang. But maybe he blows his load early. Maybe he gets in mount. Maybe he fumbles a finish. Bit of an adrenaline dump. Now round 2, round 3 begins. Rob's able to stuff a takedown and land some good shots on the feet. If this fight was to be on the feet for the whole 15 minutes, of course you'd be picking Rob Font. Raul's striking is not good. It's not terrible, but it's not good, and he's not there yet. He's only 21. He's still got a long way to improve, and, rightfully so. He's only 21. But I'm going to trust in Raul to get the early takedowns, and honestly, I'm going to predict him to win by round 1 submission, because the first takedown that he attempts, I feel he's going to take down Rob. Rob's takedown defense is not good. I feel like he's going to take him down. He's going to get him down with 4+ minutes remaining in round 1. And I think, early, while they're dry as well, Raul's very good on the ground. He's actually pretty underrated. I feel he's going to be able to lock in a submission. I think he's going to be able to take the back or find maybe a head and arm triangle. I'm going to be picking Raul Rosas Jr. by first round submission. I'm going to pick him to win by rear naked choke. Next up, we have Michael Johnson versus Drew Dober. This is a fun little matchup that got added to the card very recently. I believe maybe a week ago, or definitely less than 2 weeks ago. Michael Johnson was meant to fight, I believe a couple of weeks ago. Who was he meant to fight? He was meant to fight someone. I don't know why I've forgotten, but I have. It was Alexander Hernandez. He was meant to fight Alexander Hernandez. That fight got cancelled. So, he's been in the gym. He's been through a whole camp. He's kind of been waiting this out. Obviously, UFC told him, we're going to find you a matchup. Dober, on the other hand, was not booked. So, a little bit of short notice for Drew Dober on his side. He hasn't really shown any cardio issues in the past too much. We've seen him slightly fade, in maybe rounds 3, but obviously that's with a high output fight. Nothing really to worry about, but obviously Johnson's going to be the one who's coming off of a full training camp, who's been prepared for a very similar style of opponent as well. He was preparing for a short southpaw boxer in Alexander Hernandez, and Drew Dober. Their stances, their styles, their body types are very similar, so that's going to favour Michael Johnson. I'm going to be picking Michael Johnson. I feel what I just mentioned is going to favour him a lot in a short notice matchup. Him being able to, he's probably been in a camp for at least 8 weeks before this fight and preparing for the same style of opponent. It's going to favour him drastically. The speed advantage as well on the Johnson side, I feel it's going to be too much for Dober. Johnson's got very good counter shots. I feel Dober's going to be walking forward. He's going to be marching forward. He kind of does this weird hop jump where he just jumps forward, and he loves slamming low kicks. He does have very good low kicks, which is something that I would encourage him to use here. That could rack up rounds and win minutes. But when he does close the distance, he's very open to being countered, and we've seen that throughout history. I mean, Drew Dober's a guy who's known for being able to take one to give one and wear damage. We've obviously seen that, as of late, he's been on a bit of a skid, but he did pick up that win against Kyle Prepolek recently, where it was a scrappy fight, and it's not a good look, honestly, because Kyle Prepolek isn't a very high, caliber UFC fighter. It was a 1-1 going into the third, and then Drew Dober nut-shotted Kyle Prepolek, and then Prepolek, the fight was restarted, and Drew Dober with I think it was 4.5 minutes of rest he had, was able to just put it on him, had a long time to rest, and just really, he got a point deducted. He knew he needed a finish, just exerted all of his energy, and credit to him, he knew he needed a finish, and he went for it, so credit to him. Not a lot of guys do that nowadays, which is ridiculous, but I mean, Prepolek was a long-rangey southpaw, and he did struggle with the range in moments in round 2, where, he was a big favourite in that matchup, and people were expecting him to walk through. Kyle Prepolek. Before that, he suffered a bad round 1 KO loss to Manuel Torres. He was KO'd against, who was it? Gene Silva. That was a doctor's stoppage. He's been knocked out against Matt Frivola. Even the Terence McKinney fight, he was knocked down a ton in that fight in round 1. He's had wars with Brad Riddell, even Bobby Green, until he got the KO on Bobby Green, and credit to him. One thing about Drew, he wears damage, 2 or 3 significant shots, and you'll see, a cut will be open. He's got pig skin. He'll be bruised. He swells up very easily. So definitely something that can sway the judges as well if this does go late, maybe towards a decision. The visible damage on the side of Dober could hedge those rounds to Johnson. But I do think Johnson's going to eventually find that shot. I feel we're looking at guys where they're on the tail end of their career. They're not as durable anymore. But, as last to go is the power. They still have that power. Either man could win by knockout here. Either man could win a decision. But I'm going to pick Michael Johnson. I just feel that speed advantage, being first and being third here, and countering with those hooks as Dober's coming in, kind of similar to the KO he landed on Ottoman Azatar, when Azatar was getting reckless and frustrated with the range and tried to close the distance. He's going to come in and get met with one of those big hooks. He does have the longer reach here as well. He is the taller opponent. So I'm going to pick Michael Johnson to win by second round knockout. Moving on, we have a rematch in the middleweight division, Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm picking Gregory Rodriguez to get revenge on Bruno Ferreira here. For those who don't know, Bruno Ferreira and Gregory Rodriguez fought. That was back on the Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira card. Bruno Ferreira made his UFC debut on short notice against Gregory and was a pretty sizable underdog. Gregory Rodriguez was actually originally matched up to face Brad Tavares, so much different style of opponent. Obviously, there's difficulties in Gregory accepting that matchup. He took the risk, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him, but here we are now. He's ready to right that wrong, and I believe he will. I like what I've seen out of Gregory as of late. I mean, that CLD win is aging very, very well for him. I think CLD is one of the best surging prospects in the middleweight division. So that win is aging very, very well. CLD is a guy who obviously is a much different body type to Bruno Ferreira, so it doesn't sound like what I'm saying is true, but he's got very similar movement to Bruno in the sense they're side to side, they're switching stances, there are a lot of feints. Obviously, there's a large speed advantage on the CLD end. Gregory was able to deal with that, win a decision. In his last matchup, we saw him face Roman Kopylov, where he was able to deal with a long-rangey southpaw kickboxer and was able to find shots. He did get hurt in a moment, but was able to stay in there, was able to win a decision, go 3 hard rounds, had a good output, and I like that from him here. Bruno Ferreira, on the other hand, is coming off of that win against Marvin Vettori, where if you rewatch that fight, that was a close fight. Obviously, at minimum 29-28 Bruno, but Vettori arguably won that fight. It's very close. You could say Vettori won. So, one thing to mention as well, Bruno Ferreira missed weight, and he's a fat sack of shit, so I don't know what... Well, he's not fat, but I mean, you can't be missing weight with that body fat percentage. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're missing weight with over, let's just say, 12% body fat, I mean, you need to be fined like an extra 50%. Like, look at the photo on the screen. Like, he's at least 20% body fat. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're missing weight at middleweight. Like, bro, 178 centimeters. He's like, what, 5'11"? That's ridiculous. So, I don't know if that's just maybe he was injured going into the fight. He definitely didn't make an announcement of that. Maybe he's just undisciplined, but missed weight in his last matchup, was able to luckily get a close decision nod against Marvin Vettori, where he definitely slowed down as the fight went on. He slowed down a ton. Round 1 is very dangerous because he's quick in those entries. He moves laterally, he switches stances, and he kind of manipulates range with you and gets you to go when and he meets you there with the straight shots, similar to what he did with Gregory. He was again in the first fight. He was against a cage. He kind of like faked a left hook, faked a right hook, paused, bang, met him with a straight shot as Gregory was coming in. So he's very good at timing those type of shots. Honestly, if I feel the longer the fight goes, if it goes to round 2, round 3, I think it favours Gregory. Bruno didn't look the par in round 3 against Vettori. His output dropped drastically. His movement slows down a ton after even 4 minutes, but especially if you look at 6-7 minutes, no pun intended, that time frame, his movement becomes a lot more stationary and stagnant, and he kind of stops that side to side and lateral movement, which is a big advantage for him. Moving laterally against a power guy like Gregory is going to be a big upside here, but if he can't land that shot early like he did in the first fight, I think he's going to struggle. And Gregory's got that power through rounds 1 to rounds 3, and he's always going forward and hunting the finish. I honestly feel we're going to see a little bit more of a technical, tactical, and calm and patient Gregory here. I feel he knows he's been knocked out before. He knows he got caught coming in. He's going to kind of take his time. One thing I would love for Gregory is to just use his jab a lot more here. The jab's going to set up everything for him. Jab, low kick, feint, jab. Jab Bruno as he comes in with them big bursts, step back jab. There was a moment in the first fight, I think it was 2 or 3 minutes in, where he landed 4 jabs in a row on Bruno, and Bruno just wasn't moving his head. He moves laterally, but when he is stagnant, he doesn't move his head. He kind of just stays there. So I feel the jab's going to be there all day long for Gregory, especially with his reach advantage. So that's something that I would encourage Gregory to use here. I think he will use. Even to mix up, I would encourage him to mix in the grappling as well. Get Bruno Ferreira thinking about it. He's a BJJ black belt. It's not something we see a ton of him inside the UFC. I would love for Gregory to go out there and implement the wrestling. I think that would serve a big benefit to him. Essentially I'm going to pick Gregory Rodriguez to win. It's a hard one out of KO or decision. I would probably pick knockout. I'm going to predict Gregory Rodriguez to win by round 2 TKO. I feel Bruno Ferreira, we could even see an instance where he wins round 1, kind of just outpoints the lateral movement, is able to keep him safe. But then, like I said, 6, 7, 8 minutes in, he begins to really slow down. He's going to become a stationary target, and Gregory's going to be able to get his shots off a lot easier. So, hence why I'm picking Gregory, and I'm picking him to win by round 2 TKO. Next up, we've got Cody Garbrandt taking on Zhao Long. And this is a really difficult one for me. This is super 50-50. I'll explain why. But Cody Garbrandt was a serious consideration for Underdog of the Week this week. And I had to pass on it because, for me, Cody Garbrandt, if he does not find a finish in round 1, he's going to really struggle with the pace and the pressure of Jeong Yeong. Jeong Yeong's an absolute fucking dog. Like, we've seen this out of him. If you look at his last fight, I believe it was against Jeong Yeong Lee. They've all got... You can't remember any of these Asian guys' names. But I thought he won that fight, and Jeong Yeong was our Underdog of the Week in that matchup. A lot of people thought he won. But he's just a dog. Like, if you look at round 3, he's just in the pocket, really rallying and trying to find a finish. He's just spamming elbows the last, 20, 30 seconds. He's elbow, and, crowd was going wild at UFC Shanghai. And he's a guy who, he's going to put the pressure as the fight goes on. He may start off slow in moments, but as round 2, round 3 goes on, you can really bank on Jeong Yeong to go out there and, and fight for his money. Cody, on the other hand, I favour him in round 1 a lot. If you are going to play Cody Garbrandt from a betting side, I think you play him as round 1 KO. Potentially maybe round 1 or 2, as a pair, round 1 or 2 and 2, depending on the value and the pricing on that. But I think if Cody's going to win, it's going to be in round 1. And if he doesn't find that finish in the first half of the fight, and especially in round 1, I favour Jeong Yeong because, we see that in the Hani Barcelos fight. He starts off strong, he scores a knockdown, he even hurts Hani, and then he kind of just emotes and lets him recover. Maybe if he would have pressure there and actually put together a nice combination, he could, it could have gone differently. But, he hurts guys a lot and he lets them loose. The Hani Barcelos fight, like I said, he starts strong, he gets a knockdown, and then he fades. He doesn't like the pressure of being on the back foot. He doesn't like... He doesn't like that forward pressure that Jeong Yeong is going to present to him. We saw Hani Barcelos back him up in round 2, round 3, and dominated round 2 and round 3, was able to get takedowns, was able to land big shots, especially in round 3. I really thought Cody Garbrandt was going to get finished. If there was a 4th round, I would have predicted Hani Barcelos to find a finish in that 4th. But, man, it's no surprise, it's no secret that Cody Garbrandt is extremely sharp in round 1. His speed, his timing, his boxing, it's very good. But when he doesn't find that finish in round 1, you do see him really begin to fade. If we take if we go back a couple of fights to the Trevin Giles fight, Trevin Giles is it Trevin Giles or Trevin Jones? I know one's a welterweight and one's a whatever. Trevin out of the UFC now. We see that fight. Cody starts off strong. He's landing some shots. He's mixing in takedowns, very well-timed takedowns. And then we get to round 3, and he's really not comfortable with the pressure of Trevin. Trevin's trying to go forward, hunt for a finish. He knows he's down on the cards. And we see Cody, even the facial expression on him, he doesn't like that forward pressure. Hani Barcelos took it on him and was able to have large success with it, which arguably, gave him the fight, won him the last 2 rounds. Trevin Giles was able to win round 3. Against Cody, and was able to actually hurt Cody in a moment or 2 as well, and Cody's just trying to tie up and look to clinch. And if this fight gets to round 3 and Cody has a good round 1, he starts off fast, he's got a lot of volume, and I believe he's going to fade it as the fight goes on. Round 3 begins, Jeong Yeong's going to fucking put it on him. Make no mistake about it, Jeong Yeong is a dog. And he'll fight until the end. If he's down on the cards, he's going to fucking rally in round 3 and really go for it. As you can see on the screen, Jeong Yeong's output is double what Cody's is. He's got 5.25 significant strikes landed per minute to Cody's 2.8. I think if there was one to wrestle in this matchup, it would be Cody. Similar to where his game plan against Trevin, where he's going to mix it up on the feet, look to time those hooks of his and that boxing. But then, as Zhao begins to pressure, he doesn't like that pressure. And that's when I think he's going to try to mix in the takedowns, exactly how he did against Trevin. Zhao Long's takedown defense is pretty decent. obviously it's hard to judge because we haven't really seen him against a high-level grappler. Even his last matchup, I mean, Jeong Yeong Lee was predominantly a grappler. He wasn't really able to have success in the takedowns with Zhao Long. So his takedown defense held up there, but we haven't really seen him against a high-level wrestler. But yeah, man, I can't get it out of my head. If Cody can't find that round one finish, I mean, we see it in the Hani Barcelos fight. We see it in the Trevin Jones fight. We've seen it in many other fights. If he can't find that finish early, he fades. Even Rob Font was able to win the later rounds because Cody was just fatigued. So, Zhao Long's a dog here. I favour the younger, fresher fighter who's a lot more durable. Cody, obviously his chin isn't the greatest. He's getting up there in age. He's not very old. Like, 34 is not too old. But, you know, this isn't the 28, 27-year-old Cody that was challenging for a title. So, I'm picking Zhao Long here. Honestly, it's very 50-50 on the pick. I think if Cody is to win, he's going to find that round one KO. When he's sharp, when he's fast. Zhao Long typically starts slow and he looks to, you know, get his timing going. He does a lot of weird movements with his hands, you'll see. He's got good calf kicks as well, which is something I want to mention here because Cody did struggle with the calf kicks of Brian Kelleher in his matchup there. Was luckily able to find a finish. But I mean, outside of the Brian Kelleher KO, like, I can't even remember his latest KO. I think before that it was Rafael Sunsao, and that was in like 2020. And I'm pretty sure the KO against Brian Kelleher was like 2022. So, I mean, that's like 4 years ago. So, it's been a long time since Cody has found a finish. Look, I'm rooting for Cody. I hope he's going to get back on track and get a win. But, yeah, I probably will play Cody Garbrandt by KO inside round one. I'll have to take a look at the value side on that. But, yeah, what I'm predicting is Cody to go out there, win round one, maybe even wobble Zhao early. I won't be surprised if he knocks him out, but I'm just going to bank on what we've seen as of late, and that's Cody not being able to find those finishes and Zhao being able to stay safe in round one and really dog it out in the second and third. And that's what I think we're going to see here. I think we're going to see Cody win rounds one, have a bit of a striking showcase, and then Zhao Long is able to put it on him in rounds two, rounds three, especially rounds three. Cody Garbrandt, you know, you look at round three against Barcelos, round three against Trevin, he's really on the back foot and he's just trying to survive and get to the judges. And Zhao Long is not going to allow you to breathe in those moments. He's an absolute dog, especially in the later rounds. So, I'm picking Zhao Long. Am I confident in the pick? Not really. Like I said, Cody Garbrandt round one, I'm going to be playing that. But if he can't find that finish in round one, especially inside the first half of the fight, I'm going to favour Zhao Long as the fight goes on. So you could even potentially look for a live bet. If you start seeing Cody breathe heavily at the beginning of round two, Zhao Long starting to be the aggressor, pushing the pace, you could look for a live bet there. But I'm gonna pick Zhao Long to find a round three TKO finish. Moving on, we have Dante Johnson versus Cody Brundage. Dante Johnson coming off of his UFC debut against Cedric Dumas, and Cody Brundage coming off of another finish loss against Cam Roston not long ago at UFC 324, sorry. 325. I'm picking Dante Johnson here, but I'm definitely not confident in the pick. He's a heavy favourite, honestly. I don't think the odds should be that wide. I'm going to say it how it is. Dante Johnson is not that good. He's not that good. He's an aggression power merchant, and he's yet to really see the later rounds. He's never entered a third round in his mixed martial arts career. We only saw him just enter the second round against Cedric Dumas. But I mean, if you look at that fight, Cedric Dumas is able to start off strong. He's able to take down Dante Johnson. So obviously, there's massive holes in the wrestling department of Dante, and that's something that he, obviously he's going to get better at as time goes on. Cody Brundage, I think if Cedric Dumas can take you down, I think Cody Brundage could. Obviously, Cedric Dumas beat Cody. Cody took that fight on short notice, but whatever. I think Cody can have success with the takedowns early, and he is powerful on the feet. He's not the most technical. he kind of gets backed up, and when he gets uncomfortable with the pressure, he'll wing shots from his hip and really look to land that overhand. He even landed on Cam Roaston, pardon me, and was able to wobble Roaston and hurt him for a brief moment. But I'm just going to pick Dante to win this one by sloppy TKO in the first or second. I mean, Cody Brundage, I expect him just to be going out there and collect a check at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut after this one. Maybe the UFC just, keep him around because he's done so many favours on taking fights on short notice, and he's always a dog. He's always in there. But I said this in the last fight. I was incorrect with Cody, but I'm going to say it again here in case it happens. Expect a fucking no contest, a DQ, eye poke, something with Brundage. I mean, he's always in sloppy fights. When he gets hurt, he's always spinning. There's a lot of openings for like accidental back of the head shots and stuff, and we've seen him do that. I mean, Jacob Malkoun, that was a DQ. Mansour Abdul Malik, that was a no contest. So there's a lot of iffy ones in Cody Brundage fights, a lot of iffy moments, but I'm just going to honestly expect Dante to go forward in round one. Cody's not going to like the pressure. He's just going to get over it, Dante's going to put the aggression, and he's just an aggression merchant. He's going to land a power shot. We're going to see Cody kind of shell up and wince, and that's when I feel we're going to find Dante Johnson finding a TKO in round one. But Cody Brundage can fucking win this fight. If he gets the takedown early, Dante Johnson's fucking grappling is not good. So Cody Brundage, if he's, smart, he'll wrestle early. I think he can get a takedown early. He can even find a finish. And if he can extend this fight, over 1.5, we could maybe begin to see Dante Johnson fade. We haven't seen him in rounds 3 and how his cardio holds up. So Dante Johnson's the pick here. I just can't seem to pick Cody. I mean, he's getting finished left, right, and centre. Pardon me. And, short notice, and he just took a lot of damage against Cam Roaston. I'm picking Dante here by mid to late round 1 TKO. Next up, we've got Ricky Tercios taking on Alberto Montez. Alberto Montez is coming off of a Dana White's Contender Series win. I believe that was actually over a year ago. That wasn't on the latest season. That was the season before that. Ricky Tercios, on the other hand, he's moving up to featherweight. Now, I am going to pick... again, this is a 50-50 one. There's a lot of 50-50 matchups on this card. I'm going to pick Alberto Montez, but Ricky Tercios, don't sleep on... I mean, he's not a great fighter, but he can fucking win this fight. If you look at Alberto Montez's Dana White's Contender Series fight, the opponent that he had was like a Walmart version of Ricky Tercios, and his opponent was having success with him. Alberto Montez, if you don't know him, he's patented for his anaconda choke. He's got a couple of Darce chokes too, which is something he always goes for. I think he's got at least 4 or 5 on his resume. So it's no secret that Alberto Montez is going to try and get the fight to the ground. His striking isn't terrible. He's got a decent right hand, decent timing with that right hand. But as far as long combinations go and kicking as well, you don't really see a ton of kicks out of Alberto. It's kind of just moving laterally and just waiting to set up that takedown attempt. Ricky Tercios, on the other hand, he's an absolute dog shit striker, but he puts together a lot of volume, and he's got a very high output. He's got good cardio, and he's a dog. He's always in there to the end. He's got decent grappling. And if you look back at that Raul Rosas Jr. fight, you'll even see that he was able to take the back of Raul early, which is honestly impressive, and nearly fucking submitted Raul, had a locked-in rear naked. Honestly, if you look back at that fight, it looks rigged. He just kind of let go of it, and it looked like honestly, it just looks rigged, if you go back and watch it. But nonetheless, he took a loss there. He ended up getting submitted in round 2. But I'm going to pick Alberto here. I just think that it's one of those scrambles, one of those, openings are going to present themselves for Alberto. He's going to jump on that Darce choke or that anaconda choke that he loves, and he's really going to go for it. I can't remember. I think he's got at least 4 on his resume. Obviously, he won via that in the Contender Series. I just think that's going to present itself here. I think he's going to be able to take down Ricky Ricky's been taken down a lot, obviously. Raul was able to take him down. Bernardo Sopage was able to take him down. Brady Heastand was able to take him down in the Ultimate Fighter finale. So I think Alberto's going to be able to find the takedowns here. But if he can't find, if he puts his all into those chokes, which he does, you'll see that on the Contender Series fight. He really goes for him and he really squeezes. And if he can't find that choke, and he didn't the first attempt in his Contender Series fight, and it got back to the feet, and his opponent was kind of wearing on him, landing some good shots, just out-voluming him in that fight. Ricky could definitely do the same. Ricky's jiu-jitsu is decent. He can survive in grappling moments, but if Alberto can't find that choke early, the big stage, the bright lights, he's had a bit of a long layoff as well. Ricky Tercio should be in good shape here. He's coming off of that scheduled bout against Cameron Smotherman, which got cancelled not too long ago. So we could see Ricky begin to take over in rounds 2 and rounds 3. If Alberto starts strong, really empties the gas tank and looks for that submission in round 1, we could see Ricky take over in rounds 2 and 3 and win a decision. But I'm just going to pick Alberto Montez here. I can't trust in Ricky Tercios at this point in his career, but he definitely could win. He could win. So I'm not picking Alberto Montez with high confidence, but I am going to pick him to find that round 1 submission early. I think he's going to be able to get a takedown. Ricky Tercios' takedown defense is not very good, and I just think that opening's going to be there, that scramble's going to be there, and we're going to see Alberto Montez pick up another anaconda choke. Moving on, we have Cody Durden taking on Niam Jurgel Tumandembaral. Now, Cody Durden is actually our underdog of the week, and it's a scary one because I don't say that with a lot of confidence just because of what we've seen out of Cody as of late. But I'll explain why Cody is our underdog of the week before you guys, go to the comments or think it's as silly as a pick as what it may seem. But, there's value on the side of Cody, and there's a pretty easy path to victory here, I would say. So Cody's coming off of that loss against Alan Nascimento, where we must mention took that fight on short notice. That fight was on short notice. And not to mention, Cody came out there and put it on Alan Nascimento in round 1. He dominated round 1, was landing very good shots, got a takedown as well, and was looking really good. Got a little bit overzealous in round 2, got timed up, got fucking clipped with a left hook, and then got club and subbed. He didn't get knocked out cold and ground and pounded. He got clipped, he got knocked down, and Alan Nascimento, he's got great grappling. He was able to jump on a sub and get him out of there. Before that, he fought Jose Ochoa. He arguably won round 1. Jose Ochoa was having success with the striking. He got a little bit overzealous, and Cody fucking clipped him and wobbled him with a shot. Was able to take him down towards the end of the round, but twice I believe actually, and arguably stole that round. So it was a very back and forth round. It was a close round, but then he got clipped in round 2 with a big shot and got finished. So be it. Before that, Joshua Van, he's able to take down Joshua Van, the current champion. He's able to take him down, win round 1, and obviously he lost round 2 and round 3 badly, but he stayed in there to the end. He's a dog. That's the thing here, underdog of the week. I know Cody Durden's not going to be a fucking Reina de Ritter and quit on the stool. He's going to come out, he's going to bite down on his mouthpiece, and if it's 1-1 going into the third, both guys are tired, both guys are bloody, who am I trusting to put the pace on? Cody Durden. He does it time and time again. So we take a look a little bit later, earlier on in his career. He does have really good wins. Like Jake Hadley's a good win. Jake Hadley's having success over in the PFL. Charles Johnson is a good win. The prospect killer. He was able to take down Charles Johnson 11 times. 11 times. And was able to win against Charles Johnson. Before that, things got a little bit ugly. He was able to put together a 4-fight win streak. He beat JP Bays, I believe, Carlos Mota, Charles Johnson, and whoever else it was. Picked up a loss, was able to, even the Matt Schnell fight, he took that on short notice. People say, Matt Schnell was clipping him in round 1. Bro, that was 4 days notice. Same as the Alan Nascimento one, and he beat Matt Schnell, and he finished him, and he showcased his grappling. He locked in a nice ninja choke. So, what you expect from Cody is he's going to stay till the end. I mean, his chin isn't the greatest, and he definitely could get clipped here. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and not get hit by Tumendembarel. He definitely can get clipped, and his chin has looked to be on a slight decline as of late. I mean, technically, he's only been finished twice by TKO or KO, against Jose Ochoa and against Bruno Silva. I mean, Bruno Silva's ranked. Jose Ochoa's probably going to be ranked soon. It's not the worst of losses. So you're going to have to put him out, or he's going to be in your face all fight long. Now, what I want to talk about with Tumendembarel is the takedown defense. This guy's takedown defense fucking sucks balls. If you look at the Carlos Hernandez fight, where honestly Carlos Hernandez is a worse version of Cody Durden. Cody Durden would smoke Hernandez. So Carlos Hernandez is able to get the takedowns early. He's able to control Tumendembarel early. He's able to enter mount on him early. Nearly had a head and arm triangle, very close to syncing that up in the first 2 minutes of the fight. Was able to mount Tumendembarel, was able to land good ground shots, take his back, threaten with the rear naked choke. Credit to Tumendembarel, was able to survive on the ground, but Carlos Hernandez was able to control him. I believe it was like over 7 minutes of control time in the whole fight, which is half the fight, essentially. So Carlos Hernandez dominated round 1 with the grappling. Tumendembarel loads up on shots, was able to clip Hernandez at the end of round 2, kind of drop him, hurt him a little bit. So it was a bit of a back and, a 50-50 round. Round 2 again, Carlos Hernandez is able to just move side to side, move laterally, move around the cage. And Tumendembarel, I mean, he just looked hesitant. He didn't go for it. He didn't throw. I feel the UFC lights got to him. And, I mean, I can't trust in this guy to just, if he starts off slow and Cody's taking him down in round 1 and now round 2 begins on the feet, I think he's going to be hesitant. Because we did see that with Hernandez. Hernandez was able to take him down, and it kind of looked like he was, threatened by the takedown threat of Carlos Hernandez. So his output decreased a lot. Round 3 again was a round where he got controlled, I believe, for 3 minutes in round 3. Was able to find a shot at the end of round 3, which kind of made it a bit iffy as well, 50-50, which he ended up losing a split decision there. But there's one fight I want to talk about where this was on the road to UFC, I believe, and this Tumendembarel lost this fight. This was against a Thai kickboxer. I don't know his name. He's got some stupid Thai name. He's got a record now of 9-6. This guy's a can. He's a Thai kickboxer who trains out of Bangtao. He is a kickboxer, not a grappler, not a wrestler. This guy was able to get to his hips so easily. Tumendembarel made so many mistakes on the ground. It actually looked like he had never grappled a day in his life. Now, Tumendembarel actually got blessed with a split decision win. Kind of won based on damage, but I don't think he did enough because this kickboxer was actually landing decent shots of his own on the feet. Tumendembarel was emoting around the cage and kind of, losing focus, and then his opponent was able to just get to his hips and really take him down. There was even a moment where Tumendembarel is on top. He's in like a sprawl 50-50 position, and his opponent's able to work to a single leg, and it literally looked like Tumendembarel just let him take him down. Like, zero attempt to stuff the takedown. So, I mean, the gap on the ground here is bigger than the gap on the feet. So that's my reason for picking Cody. I think there's definitely a chance Tumendembarel could find that big shot. Cody Durden's chin isn't the greatest, and if he can find that big shot early, he's probably going to knock him out. But I think Cody Durden, he's going to go out there in round 1, and he's going to get that takedown early. Tumendembarel's takedown defense is 50%. 50%. Cody Durden's the best grappler he's faced to date. I mean, on the road to UFC, he was fighting cans. And a lot of his wins come from submission. So if he tries to jump the guillotine, which he did against Carlos Hernandez, ended up on bottom and completely fucked around for him, I think he's probably going to do that here against Cody. Cody's going to end up on top and just work him. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Cody Durden was able to find a submission on the ground. Tumendembarel is not good on the ground. He does have a lot of submissions on his resume, But if you look at the fucking the record of these opponents, they're cans. They're nowhere near Durden. So Durden's his toughest test to date, the best grappler he's fought to date, and if you're getting taken down by a 9-6 fucking bang tao kickboxer from Thailand multiple times and controlled for like 6 minutes, I think it was in that fight, and just scraping by with a split decision, I'm not fucking picking him to win here. I think he's going to get taken down early, and I think that Cody Durden's going to be able to potentially find that submission. Carlos Hernandez was nearly able to do it here, and even if he doesn't, Cody Durden, we know he's got great cardio. We know he's a dog. He's going to push the pace. He's coming off of a full camp finally in preparation here. It's not a short notice fight. So even if he does fail with finding a finish in round 1 on the ground, round 2 begins, I think he's just going to be able to take down Tumen Dembrell for 3 full rounds. Like, why not? His takedown defense is 50%. He's been taken down by so much lesser competition. Cody Durden should have a field day. I mean, 11 takedowns against Carlos Johnson, 4 takedowns against Jake Hadley. Was able to take down Joshua Van. So, look at the guys he's taken down. He should have a field day with Tumen Dembrell. As long as he can get to the hips early, he doesn't try and strike too long, which is something I hope we don't see out of Durden. But he's got good pressure here. I like what he's been saying on Instagram. He's saying he's felt as great as he's ever felt. He's coming off of a full camp. I like this matchup for Cody. He's got a massive wrestling advantage here. And honestly, I'm predicting that Durden is going to find a round 1 submission. If he doesn't find a round 1 submission, he could find it late, but I would probably bank on him to just control and win a 30, 27, 29, 28 decision. But let's not make this mistake. And Tumen Dembrell could definitely clip Cody. I'm not saying I've got 100% confidence in Cody. I just feel that the gap on the ground is bigger than the gap on the feet. Tumen Dembrell's been taken down by such low-level competition. Cody's been able to take down much higher competition. Therefore, I think Cody's going to be able to easily get to the hips of Tumen Dembrell, take him down. And honestly, I think the jiu-jitsu on Cody's side is he's got a massive upside. Even his jiu-jitsu defense as well. He's been able to survive in a lot of bad positions. We saw that against Jake Hadley, where he was putting an armbar. He's able to dog it out, stay safe, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't make a silly mistake in the heat of the moment. Charles Johnson even had him in a reverse triangle position at one time, was able to stay safe, remain calm. So I trust in the submission defense of Cody Durden if Tumen Dembrell is to jump the guillotine or look for a choke. And I trust in Cody Durden on a full camp, full preparation, back against the wall. He knows he needs to win. Hopefully him and his team are not stupid enough to not do tape study and look at Tumen Dembrell and see there's a clear path to victory here. It's walk forward, take him down in the first 10 seconds of the fight. So Cody Durden's going to be the pick. He is our underdog of the week. And guys, I just want to say, like I said, I'm not saying he's a fucking lock. I mean, he's underdog of the week. We have to pick a underdog, and I mean, it was close. There were a lot of options, but I'm going with Cody. I can't get past the takedown, the defense weakness of Tumen Dembrell. So enough fucking ranting on this fight. That's been long enough. But Cody Durden is a pick. Look, Tumen Dembrell could 100% clip him. He's got massive power, but he does load up. And if Cody Durden can meet him at the hips and take him down, he should be able to stay safe and out-control him and win a decision. Potentially even find that submission early, like I said, in round 1. So Cody Durden's the pick here, and he is our underdog of the week. Next up, we have Jesus Aguilar versus Sumu Daji. Now, talk about underdog of the week. Jesus Aguilar was a consideration because he is tough, he is durable, and he's going to fight for his money. You know what I mean? We're not going to see Jesus Aguilar go out there and just, coast and not really go for it when he's down on the scorecards. We know what we're going to get out of Jesus Aguilar. But I am going to pick Sumu Daji here because I can't ignore the significant reach advantage, the significant height advantage, and the striking of Sumu Daji. Jesus Aguilar's path to victory here, it's simple. It's close the distance, it's avoid the knees up the middle, it's avoid that jab of Sumu Daji, get to the hips, take him down, and be able to land that big right hand that he has. Sumu Daji, on the other hand, simple. He needs to keep it at range, throw a lot of kicks, a lot of teeps, low kicks, I mean, just chop Jesus Aguilar down at range. He should be able to pick him apart here and stay safe. Now, something I want to mention is Sumudaji with a record of 18-7, 6 of those losses have come by way of submission. Jesus Aguilar, as a lot of people know, has a lot of submissions, a lot of guillotines. So I think it's actually 5 guillotines Jesus Aguilar has. So he ends up in that front headlock position. That opportunity presents itself. Don't be surprised if Jesus Aguilar jumps the guillotine, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to have success with it and finish the fight with the gilly. So it's a rough one, but I'm gonna bank on Sumudaji. His takedown defense has looked improved. I mean, you look earlier on in his career, is submitted by Matt Schnell, who's a pretty good jiu-jitsu guy. Tim Elliott, there's no real shame in a Tim Elliott loss. I mean, Tim Elliott is coming off of a submission win against Kaya Sakura, so, I mean, it's not the worst of losses at the end of the day to get subbed by Tim Elliott. He's a great jiu-jitsu guy. But we see as of late, he's fighting Mitch Raposo, who I believe is a very similar style to Jesus Aguilar, except he's a southpaw. Short, stocky wrestler who throws with big power, and he was able to stuff a lot of the takedowns. Now, Mitch Raposo was able to take him down in moments. I think he had like 2 or 3 takedowns, but he wasn't able to control Sumudaji for long. Sumudaji had well improved takedown defense in that matchup, something the commentators even mentioned. I believe DC mentioned that in some part of round 2. Even after that, we see Kevin Borjas. Is trying to take him down in round 1. Sumudaji's able to sprawl, get his back off the cage and stay safe and keep it at range on the feet. And I mean, that win's aging pretty well. I mean, we just see what Kevin Borjas did to Emmanuel Rodriguez inside round 1, even though he lost, but he's very dangerous. Sumudaji wasn't getting clipped, wasn't getting knocked down. Kevin Borjas is a guy who dropped Joshua Van in round 1, dropped Emmanuel Rodriguez round 1, Lazy Boy round 1. Very dangerous. He's able to circle off from that power side, kick at range, and kind of just pick his opponents apart. So I'm going to pick Sumudaji to win a 29-28 decision here. I think Jesus Aguilar is going to throw with big power. He's going to try and get some takedowns. Maybe he does find a takedown in round 1. And essentially, I think he will win round 1. But he throws with big power. He doesn't touch. He doesn't set up his shots. He wings from his hip. He's not technical at all. Sumudaji's the way better technical fighter here. So I think as the fight goes on, he's going to begin to fade. And Sumudaji's just going to be able to teep him at range, low kick, jab, maybe even time some knees up the middle and hurt Jesus Aguilar. But I'm expecting Sumudaji to have a significant advantage on the feet up. He's way cleaner, he's way technical, and his reach advantage here is huge. 5'8" to 5'4" in Jesus Aguilar. He's even listed at 5'3" on some sites. So I'm picking Sumudaji to win via decision. Moving on, we have Rafael Tobias making his UFC debut against Diar Nurgazai. Now, I'm picking Rafael Tobias to win, but, man, I can't. A lot of people are saying Rafael Tobias a lock, and honestly, in a card where, I want to say this, I was really struggling to find a lock of the week that I was like, fuck, like, I'm 100% confident in this. Like last week, for instance, I was 100% confident in my lock of the week in Francis Marshall, and this week, I mean, Rafael Tobias, I can't trust it. I can't put 100% confidence in him because he's a guy who came in on the regional scene, fought a lot of low-level competition, was even knocked out only a couple of fights ago against a 4-3 opponent, a guy who, I mean, he was just winging shots in round 1, couldn't find that early finish and kind of faded in round 2 and got clipped with a big shot and got KO'd cold. Obviously, since then, he's been able to put together a nice win streak. But you look at the record of these guys he's fighting, I believe one was 6-7, one was like maybe 8-10 or something like that. Not good resumes, not good records, not good opponents. Even on the Contender Series, he's fighting a 5'9" light heavyweight who's got a padded record and was 6-0 and was able to get him to the ground and finish him. The guy was just too slow. Realistically, it's a obese fucking lightweight. So there's big questions there on the legitimacy of Rafael Tobias because he doesn't really have any solid wins. Diar Nurgazai, on the other hand, he doesn't really have the best wins either, but he's been in there with better level competition, and he probably does have the better wins. The individual who he fought on the Contender Series, I believe now is 9-4. So already that's like a better record than any of Rafael Tobias' opponents, apart from his Contender Series one, who was a fat DC lookalike. But Diar Nurgazai, one thing I want to say is this guy's fight IQ is absolutely garbage, and that's why I'm picking Rafael Tobias to win this matchup. Diar Nurgazai, he came in his UFC debut, he fought Brennison Ribeiro. The whole time, this guy, it's a southpaw versus conventional, the whole time he's circling towards the power side of Brennison Ribeiro. I don't understand the IQ of these guys. It's so obvious. You're a southpaw, you're facing an orthodox fighter. Circle away from that power right. You're an orthodox fighting a southpaw opponent. Circle away from that power left. This guy in back-to-back fights, again, he did it against Brennison Ribeiro in his UFC debut, circled towards the power right. What happens? He gets clipped by that power right, walking right into it. Brennison Ribeiro drops him, jumps on him. He's able to win round one. Round two begins. He's able to hurt him a little bit more on the feet, take him down, and find that Kimura. What do we see in his next matchup against Uran Salty-Baldev? He's doing the same fucking thing. This guy doesn't learn. He circles to the power right. His back's against the cage. His chin's high up in the air. His hands are low. What does he do? He circles right into the power right of Uran. Uran drops him, jumps on top of Diar, threatens with a Kimura. Nearly got Kimura'd back to back. Diar Nurgazai was able to survive, and then fucking Uran Salty-Baldev was just able to lock in like a half-assed Ezekiel choke. And from the position that he was in, it's very rare that you find someone having success with an Ezekiel choke from top guard like that. And he was able to submit him. So massive holes in the grappling department of Diar Nurgazai. Has been submitted twice. Even Brennison Ribeiro is not really known as much of a grappler. And Uran Salty-Baldev's honestly more of a striker. So Rafael Tobias has, I believe, 5 or 6 submissions on his resume. I think there's a clear path to victory here for Rafael Tobias. That's to take down Diar Nurgazai and to submit him. I think if he takes him down early, gets on top with at least 2-3 minutes to work, he'll probably find a submission. Diar Nurgazai makes a lot of mistakes on the ground, and he just looks a little bit green on the ground also. But Rafael Tobias, I question his IQ. He's young, he's 22, he hasn't seen these bright lights before. Diar Nurgazai statistically is his best opponent to date. Even with how low level Diar is, it is his best opponent to date. Diar Nurgazai, on the other hand, you could, obviously say Uran Salty-Baldev's a much better opponent than Rafael Tobias. Was able to be in there with him, shared the cage with Brennison Ribeiro as well. So I hope that, especially if you're betting on Rafael Tobias, you've got to hope that he goes out there with a grappling style approach. He goes and he mixes in the takedowns early. He gets Diar down to the ground, and he goes from there. And I believe he can find a round one submission. But if he doesn't find that submission in round one, there's a lot of questions, because I've seen in past fights on the regional scene, as round two begins, he does begin to fade. His output decreases, and Diar Nurgazai at the end of the day does have a lot of power. He's very weird. He's very inconsistent. One thing you'll notice with Diar Nurgazai, 100% in round one, when it's on the feet, I don't know what he's doing. He throws these weird low kicks where he literally throws it like he's trying to skim your leg, with 10% power. He'll just throw calf kicks, not even like he's trying to set up the high kick, absolute nothing burger. One thing as well about Diar Nurgazai obviously isn't going to help him here. He's got a nervous tick. He's not visually impaired or anything, but he ticks one of his eyes. I think it's the right eye. He's got a weird tick that he does. So, obviously that's not going to help him. If his body's, forcing him to fucking itch that tick, and Rafael Tobias just throws a shot as he's itching the tick, brings his hand away from his chin, he gets caught. Obviously it's a disadvantage to have a fucking pretty much Tourette's inside the cage. So, Rafael Tobias is going to be the pick here. I'm not going to say he's lock of the week and I went away from him from lock of the week because at the end of the day, he's 22. He's untested against high-level competition. Even the guy in the Contender Series wasn't very high level, so I can't seem to pick him here. I mean, I can't seem to pick him as lock of the week here, but I am going to pick him because you can't trust in DR Nurgazai's fight IQ. I mean, at the end of the day, he hasn't learned twice in a row to circle off from that power side. Watch him get fucking clipped 3 fights in a row, circling to the power side and circling right to Rafael Tobias, and then Tobias lands that big right hand because he does have power in his hands. Wouldn't be surprised if he finds a finish in that exact sequence, or maybe he's able to club and sub him, jump on top and find a submission. Rafael Tobias does have a massive upside in the grappling here, so Rafael Tobias is the pick. I'm going to honestly predict him to drop DR Nurgazai or hurt DR Nurgazai, and then take him down, or maybe club and sub him and find a submission in round 1. So Rafael Tobias is the pick. Next up, we have Jeong Yeong Lee taking on Gaston Bolaños. Now, one thing to mention is Jeong Yeong Lee is taking this fight on short notice. 2 weeks' notice, he's stepping up for fellow Korean Soo Young Yu. Fuck. It's so hard to remember these Korean guys' names. Jesus, but taking the fight on 2 weeks short notice against 8-5 Gaston Bolaños. I'm picking Jeong Yeong Lee here, even with the short notice training camp, and on top of that, he's our lock of the week. I like what I see out of Jeong Yeong Lee, and I'm going to even trust in him here, even on short notice. Honestly, guys, lock of the week was either going to be Jeong Yeong Lee or Rafael Tobias. Jeong Yeong Lee's just the smarter option, even with taking the fight on short notice. We've seen more of him against high level competition. Gaston Bolaños, I mean, 8-5 record is not very good, and he's a very chinny guy. You take a look at Gaston Bolaños' UFC career thus far. He had that debut against Aaron Phillips, who was never UFC caliber. Was taken down twice in that matchup. One thing as well about Gaston Bolaños, as well as him being chinny, his takedown defense sucks. So he was able to scrape out a decision against Aaron Phillips. Aaron Phillips no longer in the UFC. KO'd by Marcus McGee. Obviously, that's not a bad loss. Marcus McGee is very dangerous. And then was able to pick up a decision win against Cortavius Romeus. Romeus no longer in the UFC as well. So both of Gaston Bolaños' wins against guys who have been cut from the UFC and are no longer UFC caliber. One thing I want to mention, Cortavius Romeus at the end of round 1 drops Gaston Bolaños, hurts him in a previous moment inside round 1 as well. And Cortavius Romeus, known for his grappling, known for his jiu-jitsu, not a striker. So was able to drop him, hurt him there. If you take a look in round 3, I believe as well, was able to hurt him on the feet again. Essentially, Gaston Bolaños was able to scrape out a 29-28 decision in that matchup, just due to the fact that Cortavius Romeus fought that fight with the wrong game plan. I truly believe he's the better fighter. And I mean, jumping submissions when he couldn't. And he was getting taken down a little bit too much in that matchup and out-controlled, which obviously hedged the 29-28 decision for Gaston. And then most recently, he's coming off of that fight against Quang Le, where, again, showcased a little bit of weakness in the chin, was getting hurt, was getting wobbled, got taken down, and got submitted inside round 2. Now, Jeong Yeong Lee, I like his last fight in particular against Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos is a tough, durable guy that trains out of shooter box, who's got high volume, and that was a very competitive fight. Jeong Yeong Lee was able to drop Daniel Santos in round 1, stayed in there in round 2, round 3. One thing I want to mention, he was taken down, was able to reverse position and have significant control time of his own. So that's something I like here a lot for Jeong Yeong Lee. Even if Gaston Bolaños is able to take down Jeong Yeong Lee, I like Jeong Yeong Lee, the fact that he doesn't just settle for bottom position. He works back to his feet. He can create scrambles and end up on top, like we saw against Daniel Santos. And if he wants to mix in the offensive wrestling of his own, he can do that. Gaston Bolaños, I believe, has a 48% takedown defense, so which is terrible, absolutely garbage. Jeong Yeong Lee's the bigger opponent here. He's got the much longer reach, and honestly, with short notice and making him the lock of the week, I am a little bit worried with the short notice if Jeong Yeong Lee empties the gas tank in round 1, can't find a finish, round 2, round 3. It gets a little bit iffy just because he's taken the fight on short notice. You know, Gaston's the one pressing forward. But I'm honestly going to pick Jeong Yeong Lee to find a round 1 KO finish. Gaston Bolaños has pretty much nearly wobbled in every single fight. 5 losses. Jeong Yeong Lee's fought the much higher level competition. I mean, a very close fight with Daniel Santos. He's even got a win over Yizhar, who we just saw not too long ago. Lose a split to Khan Offley, but he should have won on the scorecards. He's got a win over Blake Builder. He was able to mix in the takedowns there. So he can offensively wrestle. He can absolutely tee up on Gaston on the feet. He's got the longer reach. He's got a nice low stance as well, which I like from him. Something with Gaston is weird. He always circles to that left side, throwing that same body kick. He's so slow on the feet. Something I want to mention here. He's got a good right kick, but he doesn't set it up with anything. He just circles left and he'll just throw that body kick, then eventually take it high. He doesn't got good boxing. He doesn't put together, boxing combinations. He doesn't jab well. He doesn't really go to the legs quite often. He just kind of circles and looks for that body kick. And, I mean, he doesn't fight comfortable on the back foot. We've seen that throughout his UFC career. And he does leave his chin up in the air sometimes. And I just think Jeong Yeong Lee is going to crack him. I think the first significant shot that Jeong Yeong Lee lands is really going to wobble him. I mean, this guy's chin is absolutely garbage. Jeong Yeong Lee, the shots that he landed on Daniel Santos, who's a very durable guy, if he lands those same shots and on Gaston, I think he's going to get him out of there. So Jeong Yeong Lee is our lock of the week. Honestly, boys, he is our least confident lock of the week thus far. We are 5 for 5 on lock of the weeks, but I'm still confident he wins, but he's the least confident, just the fact that he's taken this fight on short notice. But I honestly don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. He has been training. He was over in Mexico City to corner Daniel Zellhuber. Not corner Daniel Zellhuber. I'm not sure if he was in the corner, but was able to help out Daniel Zellhuber. So he's been training. He's been amongst it. And I just think Gaston Bolaños is not UFC caliber. I mean, the 2 wins that he does have, those guys are cut from the UFC. Jeong Yeong Lee had a competitive fight with Daniel Santos. He's got a win over Yizhar. He's got a couple of good finishes on the road to UFC against formidable opponents. So Jeong Yeong Lee here is going to be our pick and lock of the week, and I'm picking him to win by round 1 KO. Next up, we've got Luke Fernandez versus Rodolfo Bellato, and I'm going to pick Luke Fernandez to win, but I want to say this right now. Don't be fucking surprised if Rodolfo Bellato wins. Luke Fernandez is not good. He is not good. He will not go far in the light heavyweight division. I'm sorry if you're a Luke Fernandez fan. It sounds like I'm being a hater. He is not a good fighter. His grappling is okay. He's striking. You'll see that he's mainly recognised as a striker, as a power puncher. The guy he fought on the Contender Series, I believe, took that fight on short notice. He was an absolute blob, absolute lard ass. Was able to just go forward and land a big right early and find the finish. And he's been able to do that a lot throughout his regional career. I mean, he doesn't really have any good wins in his before the UFC and before the Contender Series. Like, he hasn't really beaten anyone of value. Only 6 fights into his UFC career. A lot of guys, he's just been able to rely on that power. And honestly, this guy is so fucking annoying to do tape study on. One thing, if you guys do tape study as well, you'll notice with Luke Fernandez, he does the same fucking thing. He throws a double jab 2 or a 1-2-3, and then he presses his opponent up against the cage and fucking gets him against the clinch and just hugs from there. So the guy's an absolute nothing burger. Like, that's 100% what you're going to see here in the opening 15 seconds. You're going to see Luke Fernandez go forward, try to land that big 2, and if he doesn't land it, he's just going to absolutely hug and press up against the cage. And Rodolfo Bellato is coming off of that loss against Navajo Sterling, and you just can't pick him with how this guy acts. I mean, we saw him. It's very weird because you see him, go through adversity against Ihor Peteria. He's able to, strive on and find a finish after being rocked and hurt. And then he fucking quits against Paul Craig, who kicked him up towards the chin. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So Luke Fernandez is going to be the pick. I just think he's an aggression merchant. He's going to be able to probably find that round 1 TKO, rely on his power. But if he can't find that shot early, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised, I'm pretty 50-50 on the pick here. I'm just going to trust in Fernandez because I can't trust in Rodolfo, who's got the quit button, who is chinny. I'm going to pick Luke Fernandez to win by round 1 TKO. But if he can't find that big shot early, the fight's now begun to get pressed up against the cage. It enters round 2. big stage for Luke Fernandez for his UFC debut. He's a less experienced opponent. Adolfo Bellato could rally late like he did against Ihor Potieria, find a finish, or win a 29-28 decision. So I'm not picking Luke Fernandez with high confidence. And honestly, if I was you guys, I would stay away from him from a betting side of things. Don't add him to your parlays. He's not worth it. He's a less experienced, less technical. Honestly, Adolfo Bellato is the better technical kickboxer. So what you'll see from Luke Fernandez, I promise you, he'll go forward, he'll throw a 1-1-2 or 1-2-3, and he'll just look to, use aggression and forward pressure and get towards the clinch and push against the cage. Honestly, he could even win a boring decision here just by cage sniffing. So Luke Fernandez is the pick, not a good fighter at all, and 100% chance that Adolfo Bellato wins as an underdog here. That's going to be it. Just to recap, prop of the week is Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway, double chance bet. That is Holloway to win by KO, Oliveira to win by submission. Our underdog of the week is Cody Durden, and our lock of the week is going to be Jeong Yeong Lee. If you want access to further bets, join the free Discord premium group. That link will be in the description below. We have a couple of members that have joined lately. Thanks to you guys, and thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you guys in the Discord soon.